Bakhmut, Soledar and Sloviansk are the areas that may become the next target for Russian occupiers. This was stated by the Donetsk Regional Military Administration. The armed forces of Ukraine are already prepared for such a development of events.
Bakhmut is the closest, about 8 kilometers to the front line. Sloviansk is a little further away, but it is also the distance that allows using multiple launch rocket systems. Therefore, in this case, these directions are most under threat.
The Ukrainian military succeeded in repelling several attacks in the Sloviansk and Kharkiv directions at once. The enemy suffered losses in equipment and manpower and then withdrew to the previously occupied positions.
The Ukrainian defense forces carried out a powerful shelling of enemy positions in the area of Verkhnyokamensky, forcing the enemy units to retreat from the village. With the support of artillery and operational aviation, the occupiers unsuccessfully tried to conduct an offensive in Spirne and Ivanodaryevka settlements. They suffered losses and withdrew.
In the south of the country, the Ukrainian army destroyed 2 more command posts of the Russian occupiers. An ammunition depot in Novokakhovka was also destroyed. An enemy tank company of 9 units of equipment was also burned down. The office of the President of Ukraine states that the turning point on the battlefield is now beginning.
Over the past week, 16 positions with Russian barracks and ammunition depots have been destroyed. In addition, the enemy is forced to take operational pauses due to losses. That is why, without fail, a certain turning point in the war is already beginning, because the Ukrainian army has shown the main directions of its attacks, exactly the storage sites and operational control centers of the army structures. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President of Ukraine.
There will be no capitulation agreements, nor will there be any Minsk III. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry named 3 scenarios for ending the war.
The first scenario would be approximately the same as the goodwill the Russians pronounced when they fled from the Kiev region, Chernihiv region, Sumy region and Snake Island. I therefore think that it would be broken into a chain of several events. Firstly, we would take up the positions prior to February 24th of this year. Then there will be some conversations about the status of the previously occupied Donetsk, Luhansk and Crimea, but at the table with our powerful partners. The second option is that we will gradually grind down the Russian armed forces, because this is actually a war of resource against the resource. The third is more dramatic for the Russian Federation. This is the collapse of the Russian Federation. This is a parade of sovereignties into several different entities. Alexei Reznikov, Minister of Defense of Ukraine.
The Russian occupiers continue shelling the Dnipropetrovsk region. A residential neighborhood in Kryvyi Rih came under fire. 2 people were killed and 2 more were wounded. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky came to the front line and visited the wounded Ukrainian soldiers.
Thanks to the soldiers, thanks to the heroes. You, most importantly, get well.
The enemy does not stop shelling the Odessa region. 2 cruise missiles were fired at the region.
Fortunately, the missiles exploded over the sea in the air. 2 enemy sea mines were also removed. One was deactivated by our soldiers on the Black Sea coast and the other in the Dniester estuary.
5 people were killed when Russian occupiers shelled Bakhmut and Siversk in the Donetsk region. 3 people were wounded, including a child. Also in the region, 8 fires on wheat fields were extinguished. The enemy is deliberately firing to endanger the Ukrainian harvest. Russia could provoke a world famine, the military administration reported. Reported by Marina Stepanenko, Alexander Belov, UATV News.